With traditional grip, some of the most common mistakes that people have when practicing is one, they'll have it so that the wrist is already turned. The way that instructors usually like to talk about it is if you're to pour water in your hand, the water should pour out instantly as opposed to cup and pool in your hand. So this is bad because when you're playing like this, it makes it so that you've already rotated and you can't rotate much further. So your distance from here to here is already maxed out. But if you start with your thumb actually on top and in alignment down the forearm and making it so that the water would pour out of your hand, like if you're shaking hands with somebody like this as opposed to like this, then you have more room for rotation because you can actually pull back further. This is a common thing that a lot of traditional people have an issue with. They're already starting here and then they can't get that range that they're looking for when they're playing. Another thing with traditional grip that sometimes students would have issues with is the bending the wrist. So keeping it in alignment, going along like this, and then focusing on rotation. The wrist is rotating along with the forearm is rotating. And while you're doing this, your bicep is moving up and down. So it's not a strength thing with the bicep. It moves up and down while you're doing the rotary. So it's not like a thumb motion. The only people that I've seen teach thumb motion are drum kit players, tenor drummers, or people who never actually march DCI and who are just guessing. And it creates a weak sound quality, an inconsistent sound quality. So if you're playing your taps with just your thumb like this, it's not going to sound as good as actually rotating the forearm. So that's a big thing that I focused on with this rotating. Even on the small taps, it's a wrist rotation. It might look like it's thumb at faster speeds for the higher world-class ensembles. It's not. It's just a really tiny wrist rotation. So you're just moving like this, is rotating around. It's not a thumb motion like that. That was the biggest thing when I'm doing traditional. Before I get to the next tip, I just want to say really quickly that you can find literally thousands of hours of free drumming play-alongs and drumming tips in the link at the top of the description or by going into my home tab of YouTube. A lot of younger students, they sit there and they focus on, oh, I'm going to learn this snare break. It's going to show that I can play this thing and it's going to make me really cool. And it's going to make it so the instructor is going to be like, wow, you can play blue coats. You should be our center snare. Or they'll work on I'm going to play this stick trick or do whatever. They're going to do something that they think is going to set them apart from the other people on the drum line. What that's going to end up doing is holding you back and make it so you actually don't make the drum line. I've only ever had, I think, one person make snare line as a freshman. Only one. And that was over 10 years of teaching the drum line. So it's very rare. What typically happens is, as a freshman, you'll come in, you might make bass drum. Maybe, if you're lucky. Otherwise, you'll be in the front ensemble or maybe the cymbal line. But making snare and tenor as a freshman is very rare. So what you have to do is really set yourself apart from everybody else who is auditioning there. One way you can do that is to actually get together with people that are currently on the snare line. Or even better, get together with the snare tech or the caption head or whatever your hierarchy system is for the drum line. Get together with them, take lessons from them. If you can't afford it, space it out more. One of the things that you could potentially do is once a month, I'm going to take lessons from you. Save up for it, mow lawns, babysit, whatever you need to do to make it so that you can get the money to be able to afford those lessons. Do that. Don't spend it on useless stuff. Learn from them and just focus on the thing that they ask for. What they're going to ask for is memorize the audition packet and to focus on technique stuff. They're not going to be like, hey, what we really want you to do is go check out these shopping sprees and learn Blue Devil's 2000 shopping spree. Don't do that. Ignore all the stuff that's in this chop section and just focus on the fundamentals. So you're going to focus on the technique stuff inside of here. Spending 50 to 60% of your time working on technique exercises, 30 to 40% focusing on grid, and only 10 to 20% focusing on chops. If you're an 8th grader, however, I wouldn't focus on any of the chop stuff right now. And I'd probably only spend 10 to 20% focusing on grid variations. And I'd spend 80 to 90% focusing on technique exercises. Mark time with everything you're doing. Stand while doing it. Don't sit there with the pad on your lap. That's going to create some bad technique. Go slow with it. Take your time and do it every day. Even if you only got 10 minutes, grind it out. The reason for that is because the way that your brain learns stuff is if you do things more frequently, it's basically signaling to your brain, hey, this thing's kind of important. If you're only practicing on the weekends and you skip 5 days of not practicing, your brain's oh, we thought this was important. It's not. Ignore it. Outside of getting together with the people on the line to see exactly what they're looking for, what the expectation is, there's over 21 hours of me responding to great questions like the question that you have in just this playlist alone. Try and go through a new one each day. To be able to play on the rim, it's a little weird, honestly, to play towards the front because you're having to stick your arm forward and it just feels a little funky to play up here. So when playing on the rim with traditionals, one of the things that you can do to make it a little bit easier is you can actually play on the rim that is closer to you. So over here, so as opposed to playing up here. So with match grip, it just feels more comfortable playing like this, just moving it forward. But for traditional, because of like the way that you're rotating, when you extend the forearm out like this, it feels funky up here. So you can pull back a little bit. So you're just pulling your elbow back toward you. Traditional rim is just a little weird. A lot of the groups that I like performed with, we just played up here and we just had to suck it up and just deal with it. But when I was teaching, for some of the stuff, we would play it back here. If it was a whole lot of rim and it just felt more comfortable, like especially if you're doing like rolls or something on the rim, it's a lot easier this way than this way. Make sure that your thumb is on top and in alignment with the forearm, and that you are holding it like this as opposed to like this. So you can get the rotation from that, as opposed to having to like pull the elbow in for it. For like really large stuff, will your elbow move? Yeah. But it's not going to be like a crank it out like this and like stick it way out like that. Like you don't want that. Put like a Kleenex or a tissue box or some kind of like a shoe box or something small right here to just like keep it so that your arm is stationary while you just practice rotating. Get that rotation without closing that gap. That can help out with that, to like get used to that feeling of what it's like to actually do the full on rotation. But the other thing is stretch, hold it for like 20 to 30 seconds and then rotate to the other side for like 20 to 30 seconds and hold it there. Then that can help you with getting better rotation out of that. If traditional grip is so good, why don't we play with double traditional grip? Mechanically speaking, like it's not like there's an advantage to playing with this rotary style motion. And I say this as somebody who was a center snare for high school, college, and for DCI. So it's not like I don't have experience like marching snare. Like I know some things and have studied with literal like world champion snare drummers. I can't recommend it. If you want to learn snare drum, it's basically for DCI or WGI where they're using traditional grip, then that's really the only place that you need to use it. Outside of that context, like match grip is the way to go. Like 100% focus on the match grip. If you're playing traditional grip on a flat drum, it doesn't make sense. It was designed for a tilt. When you play it flat, it already rotates your wrist a little bit and you lose that extra bit of motion, like from here to here. It makes it so you don't get the full sound while playing on it. Any snare line that I taught that did traditional grip, we would play it on a tilt, but I think most of the snare lines that I taught, eventually we just switched over to match grip because the students that I was working with were percussionists rather than snare drummers from multiple different schools. We would have them like switch instruments midway through the show where they would play snare drum for like a movement and then they'd switch over and play tenor drum for another movement. The students during the ballad would go in and play like 4-mallet marimba solos and stuff like during the ballad. The goal was to just showcase that, hey, this school, these students are percussionists. We're not just snare drummers. I see a lot of people practice the techniques that they're going to use 1% of the time in their playing instead of the technique that they're going to use 99% of the time that they're playing because they're trying to get that flashy, like, yeah, look how fast I can play. And it ends up just like slowing you down. You'll stalemate if you do that. So I highly recommend focusing on the thing that gives you the most return on your investment of time and energy, attention, etc. Focus on the mechanics that you will use, not the gimmicks that you will not actually use on an actual gig, but will get you views on social media. Ignore that stuff. Those people are just trying to capture your attention.